We move on now to our next session. Daniel Horton will moderate this session on interdisciplinary training for the next generation of One Health researchers in Europe.
Thanks very much, Dolores, and good morning, everyone. So welcome to this session on training the next generation. My name's Dan Horton, so I'm a Professor of Veterinary Virology and Associate Dean at the University of Surrey. And as a Work Package 6 collaborator, I had the pleasure and privilege of contributing to the development of some of the training and education activities with Rob Laragione and Wim van der Poel, and now a very amazing professional team that have helped refine and implement them. So with this project, with its scale and length, we had the opportunity to go beyond normal. We wanted to do something that would leave a legacy for One Health in Europe. And to that end, we put together, I think, what was quite an ambitious, integrated scheme of activities. And we've already heard a bit about some of them. So we had CPD modules, summer schools, short-term missions, workshops, media training. But the flagship, of course, was the PhD program. And we didn't even know if it would be possible to have a cohort of PhDs across European countries with all the different funding mechanisms and registration. So the question is, has it worked? And we can measure that by the, I think, 35 publications already. You've heard several of the PhD students keep popping up in presentations about our impact and outputs. But what better way than to actually ask some of the students themselves? So it's my great pleasure to introduce two of our PhD students that have been trained as part of the One Health EJP. So first of all, Philippe Darmec. So Philippe's just recently completed his PhD at ANSES and at the veterinary school ENVA here on the zoonotic parasite Toxoplasma gondii. And this is a great example of combining clinical data, pathological data, genomic data, and some analyses to be able to provide information on the likelihood of transmission from animals to people. And then Laura Gonzalez, who is trained as a vet in Madrid originally, but has very nearly finished her PhD, has submitted a thesis at the University of Surrey on the effect of the environment on infectious diseases. So I've got a couple of questions, and then I'll give you, the audience, a chance if we have time. So start off then with you, Laura. Can I ask you why you chose the project and how you think it helps what you do now?
Thanks, Dan. Well, as you have mentioned, my project is involving environment and disease. As a veterinarian, this is something that we have a lot in our roots, assessing effect of weather and disease. And in this sense, I analyze the effect of weather itself only in the incidence of salmonellosis. And this is something that came up after my EFSA traineeship. This was very inspiring to me, and it led me to realize that the importance of the modeling work, and it gave purpose to what I wanted to do next. So it was very inspiring and led me to accept this position that it was fitting perfectly with my aspirations, and as well as being an European consortium that gives a lot of opportunity for networking and collaboration that, as I mentioned yesterday, I consider very important. So this actually turned out well to me as...
Can I follow up on that? So
Sure.
The science, there's no doubt that it's made a great contribution. What about sort of cross-cutting skills? You mentioned a few things like networking. Do you feel that the PhD's given you some skills that are going to be useful in your current role?
Yeah, absolutely. That was my next point. It gave so many opportunities of networking with people. I met people from my current position at the APHA in one of the annual scientific meetings. So that led me to think about my next step, like, well, I like the work, just bringing people together with the same interest. It was very inspiring and opened my mind now thinking about next steps. Also, the short-term mission gave me with the skills on how is the work done in a national institute. That was the skill that I was missing. So somehow it all bring up together networking, a bit of experience in a health institute to somehow lead the path for my next step in the Animal and Plant Health Agency. So it all made sense in the end to me.
Perfect, thank you. So Philippe, same question to you then. Why did you choose your project and how do you think it helps what you're doing now?
Well, similarly as Laura, I come from the veterinary field, and my PhD project was on toxoplasmosis, which is a zoonosis. And naturally, I just got involved in these processes, how to know these zoonoses during the studies. And it was partially by chance, partially by the professor who led me to this field. And then I was really interested in this. So I started during my studies. Then I did Erasmus project on this. And it was something that I really wanted to pursue more. And it was just a really natural process of finding my way to this PhD. And also during my last year of the university study, I kind of started to hear from different directions about this One Health approach, and I don't know why I didn't hear about it until then. But suddenly, I don't know if you know the feeling if you hear something and it really makes sense, and then you just want to follow that more. So that was my way to the PhD project.
Excellent. Thank you. I mean, you mentioned there that the One Health aspect. So do you think, you guys are clearly bright. You could have chosen any PhDs. Do you think being part of the One Health EJP itself and the interdisciplinary opportunities, do you think, Philippe, if I can ask you this first, do you think that's given an advantage to you? Do you feel like it's been worthwhile?
Definitely, especially if you mentioned the interdisciplinary approach. That was a big plus. Not only did I got a chance to try different positions within different institutes, national research institutes and in academia. It was like doing 3 different PhDs at the same time. Sometimes it was really...
That doesn't sound that great to me. But
it was fun.
Thanks.
So yes, it was a big plus for me personally and also in the career, I would say.
Right, thank you, Philippe. So, Laura, same thing to you then. Do you think the One Healthness of this programme has been an advantage to you, or would you prefer to just be more one discipline?
Well, I think if we're in the One Health, is that we are a bit masochist and we like to try to complicate ourselves. But I'm very grateful to the One Health consortium because I feel spoiled of all the opportunities that we were given, and I know that this is not very common in other PhDs. So many training, workshops, summer schools that help me to see other projects, understand different approaches, even reflect on my own project and meet other people. And I have this feeling of being under a network umbrella where I feel close to all of us, even though we don't know each other. And that gave me the facility to just reach to the short-term mission PhD student and say, hello, I don't know you, you don't know me, but can we be friends and make a collaboration? And it turned out very well. And another example is I needed a revisor for my PhD document that we have to submit at the end of the project. And I met someone that knew about Salmonella in a meeting, and I was like, do you want to read this 50-page report for me? And obviously she was very busy, Sara Monteiro from DTU, and she kindly agreed to that. So it's almost like a family that you don't know. It was great.
That's really lovely to hear. I mean, we talk about having a cohort, and that doesn't really mean anything, but what it does mean is exactly what you said. You can just say, you don't know me, but you do. Can we collaborate? And you feel part of something. So that's lovely to hear. So last one from me then, come to you, Laura, first, if I can. So if you could pick one most valuable lesson or experience from your PhD, what would it be?
For me, it's, probably this applies to most PhDs, is patience. I'm not a very patient person, and after this, you have to learn how to let go and be ready to let things go out of your control and be ready for accept your errors and move on and be resilient and trust that somehow things are going to work out. And trust in your supervisors as well, because they know better.
Not necessarily. Philippe, same question to you then. What's the most valuable lesson or experience, do you think, from your PhD?
It's really hard to pick just one. Obviously, the networking, that was a big plus. And to learn how to communicate and present things, and even how to think so others understand you. But if I should pick one, perhaps that would be flexibility and adaptability to constant changes, because you never know what tomorrow will throw at you, and you need to go on.
You never know if there'll be a pandemic that will interrupt.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you very much. So I just want to give the audience a chance to ask any questions. So would anyone like to take the opportunity to ask our students any questions? Yep, there's one at the back here. So we'll go to you at the back first. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Jack Whitehouse and I'm from the University of Surrey. What advice would you give to prospective PhD students that might embark on a PhD project in a similar size consortium in the future?
That's a great question. Thanks, Jack. So Philippe first, perhaps.
It's interesting to give advice since I've just finished, but I would say perhaps be active, don't be afraid, be bold, take action, and the future will be there for you. Just be active.
Thanks, Philippe. Laura.
I would say to trust in yourself, because at times situations can be daunting. You feel like you don't know anything. You're in a conference surrounded by experts, and it might feel overwhelming, but just you have to start somewhere. So just trust yourself and don't be afraid to make mistakes and ask questions.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. One more question then, Lapo, if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. My question goes more to the managers of the One Health EJP. This is fantastic, the whole connection between the students, the PhD students. Do we have any plan to keep this? Do we have any plan for any kind of alumni association or something like that?
Thank you, Ludo, for being for this challenge. Do we have a plan? No. Do we have opportunities? Yes, certainly. Certainly we have opportunities. I think we can discuss it with the MedvedNet Association because the network will be there. There will be partnerships. There will be other large projects. So yes, there are certainly opportunities and we just have to grab them like the students say, we shouldn't be afraid to try new things. So thank you for it.
Yeah, I agree, Hein. And if I may just add, I think we're already seeing it organically. You know, if these guys, on average, they maybe have 5 more students themselves in the next 10 years, they'll all be able to network amongst them. That's, you know, another 150 potential students that are all part of this network. I think we will see, when we're long retired, there will still be a legacy that's organic, in addition to the formal way of allowing people to connect. What we think we've created is an organic network which will be self-propagating. So I'm going to, in the interest of time, if that's okay, I'm going to draw this to a close, but I'd just like to ask you to join me in thanking Laura and Philippe very much for joining us today and sharing their really insightful perspectives. So thank you both very much. We can go. And now I'd like to hand over to Hein. Thank you very much, everyone.